Alright, since it's a rainy day for the morning before I can go on a bicycle ride, and because I've been reading this book, which is largely a pet's book, okay, it's about just all the animals. It's not just about roosters, it's about dogs and cats and stuff. And I got to a point where he's talking about his childhood. Alright, the author's talking about his childhood and his experience with dogs and cats. And I'm in a section where he's talking about cats and how one cat, a calico cat that he loved the most as a kid, ran away for a few months and then came back fatter than usual. And they like to imagine that the cat ran away to some kindly old lady who overfed the cat with too much meow mix, and instead the cat gave birth to 9 kittens, and outside, and the cat started to bring them into the house and under his bed one by one. And then he didn't say what happened after that. He didn't say how they dealt with the kittens. At least I didn't get far enough yet. And that got me thinking about my personal experiences with kittens. With cats in general. I was thinking about like my parents' divorce and how cruel I felt my dad was towards some kittens in one situation. But when my parents were married, still I think they divorced at about 6. I had a favorite cat. There's a big orange cat that was very responsive. I was very impressed. Just for me calling him at night and us hanging out and stuff. But that ended because my mom allowed a horse onto the fenced-in part of this farm that we were living at, because the farm wasn't really being used for anything else. So I don't even think she charged rent. She just allowed somebody to keep their horse on this pasture, and one day the cat may have, this is what we assume, never actually witnessed what happened, but it makes the most sense to me. The cat may have gotten too close to the horse and got kicked, and we later saw the cat trying to lick half of a jaw hanging. We took it to the vet, who wasn't very far, and I mean, my mom wasn't about to pay $500 or whatever dollars back in the 80s for a jaw surgery, so they just decided to let it go to sleep. And I was very sad. I actually cried during that moment. It was during that period. It was very it was very disappointing to lose that. But that cat. That's a cat. That's not a kitten. Later, when we moved into the trailer court, moved up in society. Actually, we moved down in society. We had some kittens were born. Okay, and I think it was maybe when I was like maybe 10 or so. But it was in that volatile period where my dad still, like, me and my sisters, my dad still felt like he had to, be a part of our lives or something, and pick us up on weekends, me and my sisters. But one of those weekends, my mom had these kittens, and she's like, well, I really can't do anything with them in this, we live in this trailer court, they just can't run free. I don't know how they were born. She had maybe, I can't remember exactly, it was more than one. And my dad said, "Oh, I'll take care of them." So we drive, me and my sisters, we drive to a river. He pulls right in front, the car facing it. Me and my sisters stay in the car. We have this box of kittens, and he just takes the box and walks up to the river and individually starts tossing them into the river one by one right in front of us. And that was really hard to watch. I've never seen that before. I felt I'd say it's cruelty in a way, but how else do you deal with kittens? I guess it's a quick way to kill them, is just to toss them in the river. But at the time, nothing was explained. See, I wish he did it to add. The added effect is not explaining that this is the best that he could do, and he didn't explain anything. He was quiet about it. He wanted it to be a shock to me and my sisters to witness this, okay? Because there was no sugarcoating in talking through what he was doing. He did it as a shock, and I'm like, what's next? So that was that situation. On another situation I thought is interesting. Now, this is my mom killing a kitten, all right, but that was an accident. It was a couple of years, probably a few years later, and we were trying to figure. She was trying to figure out how to hook up a VCR to a TV, and just couldn't quite get the cables plugged into the right spots to get the video to work. VCRs are so difficult to figure out. You almost needed an expert to get a video to run. All right, she had so much trouble. I was trying to kind of help her out. I think I was a preteen, and we just both couldn't figure it out. She got increasingly frustrated. We couldn't watch our movie. And that's when she just like, okay, that's it. We're taking the VCR back. 'Cause we actually rented a VCR from the video. It's Video Plus, it was called. Because we couldn't quite afford a VCR. So we rented that with the movie. And maybe Mom was upset about the cost to rent a VCR too. And just wanted to get her money back, since it's such a difficult measure to hook it up. If you owned the VCR, then you would have more time with it, more experience with it, and probably even keep it hooked up all the time. But when you rent a VCR and you don't exactly, and it's very complicated. There's like 2 plugins that go into the TV, 2 plugins that go into, maybe there's 3, I don't know. There's at least 2, and we just couldn't quite get it. And there's like 6 or 8 little plug-in things in the back of the TV, and like 4 in the back of the VCR. You needed to get them right, and we just couldn't figure. And then you needed to get the TV on the right channel too, and maybe coordinate the VCR in some way as well. And we just couldn't do it on a rented VCR. We just didn't have the patience for the rented VCR, because it was, the cost, and you could only keep the VCR for a short period of time. But that frustration built up, where she was just like, that's it. I'm taking it back, taking it all back. No movie. So she got in, she threw it all in the car, and there's a little kitten playing underneath the car. So she was angry. I'm just taking it out. I think she was yelling stuff. And as she was pulling out, she ran over the kitten and killed it. It was just going into like a nervous twitch. And then that just gave her more reason to be upset and yell about how upset she was. And then she just drove off, leaving that kitten there, because there was nothing she could do. I don't think she even got out of the car to get a closer look at the kitten. She was so angry. She just wanted to get that VCR back. So those are just unique instances I've had with cats and kittens and stuff. It's just this kind of reading this book just kind of gave me that vision